I have made over $2.5 million selling just one product. You can see I've sorted the product types by names that include sauna, and you can see we've done $2.533 million in top line revenue between infrared saunas, barrel saunas, and all the different types of sauna accessories that people would buy with their saunas. And I did that from complete scratch without any prior experience. And I'm still amazed because before I made my first sauna sale, I had literally never made $1 online. I was just a regular kid in law school in $170,000 of student debt. And I know it might sound crazy, but that was my reality. So I started this business with only $500 to my name, living in my mom's basement. And it's not like I had some fancy Ivy League business degree or I had any prior experience. I was totally new to e-commerce, just like you might be right now. But here's the wildest part. Within a very short window, my life did a complete 180. And in today's video, I'm going to show you step by step how I did it and how you can do it too. So I promise I'm gonna be raw, I'm gonna be transparent, there's no scripts, there's no fluff. I just have some bullet points right now to keep me on track so I don't miss any key details. And yes, you can use my story as your inspiration because I'm also going to show you what to look for when hunting down your first multi-million-dollar product. Because here's the truth. This video might be the most valuable video you watch all year. Why? Because there are not many people who've turned their lives around as quickly as I have. So I've compressed the lessons that I learned into something that you can implement right away. Now you might be wondering, if all this is real, then why would you share it? Why would you help me for free? And the answer is very simple. So I found a way where by helping you make money, I also make more money. But not just that. I help you make more money without touching any of the money I help you make. So more details on that in just a bit. And if you stick around to the end today, I'm going to reveal exactly how you can grab my free guide featuring the top 1,500 products to sell online in 2025. But fair warning, these will only even make sense if you stick around for the full video. So if you're serious about creating your own success story, then keep. Before we get into it, a bit about me. So if you've ever wondered how a kid from a small town in Canada, once on track for a professional hockey career, can pivot to law school and then right before I graduate, completely abandon it for the completely opposite path of entrepreneurship, my story might make you rethink everything you thought about taking the safe route. So I grew up in a small town called St. Thomas, Ontario. I had a very, very average home life. My parents did not have much money. We never went on any family vacations. The one thing that I would say was different about me was I played hockey at a very high level. So I played hockey at the highest level in Canada. I ended up getting drafted first round into the OHL and had concussions throughout my career. Once I got to the higher levels, I wasn't the best anymore. So when I was about 18 years old, I had a few concussions by this point. It was starting to take a toll mentally and I didn't see a clear path to turning pro. So I decided I wanted to switch gears and start focusing a bit more on academics. Up to this point, I hadn't even tried in school ever. I had never got good grades, but I think I was aware that I could do well if I tried. It was a very weird period in my life because I had this massive identity conflict where I'd been a hockey player for the first 20 years of my life. I was one of the best in the world when I was younger, between like 14 and 15. And then all of a sudden, bam, it was just gone. So I had this weird identity conflict where I had been used to being the best at something, hockey, and then everything was just taken away. So that was probably the darkest period of my life. I started partying too much at university. I wasn't getting good grades. And then I discovered personal development. So I started setting goals for myself, listening to podcasts from like Andy Frisella and people like this. And that led to me starting to do very, very well in school, and eventually getting to law school, winning course prizes, getting on the dean's list, getting an amazing job at a law firm. But the downside of all that is I had to go into $170,000 in debt to do that because my parents never gave me any money for school. I had to pay for it all myself, and law school in Canada is very, very expensive. So yeah, as I said, law school was going very well. I had a job at the top law firm in Canada, but I had this huge debt. So how law school works is you get your job between years 2 and 3. So during the third year of law school, I had already had my job lined up for after. So I started to look into other ways that I could make money on the side during my third year of study to start paying back this huge debt. So I asked the law firm, hey, can I work? And they said no. Essentially, the first thing I did to make money was I ordered these dumbbells, like the adjustable weights you can find on Alibaba. And I ordered like 30 of them to this warehouse in Toronto. And I drove my mom's tiny car, picked up them in the warehouse, and I sold these on like Craigslist and Kijiji. So that's how I made my first few $1,000s online. I realized pretty quickly that that wasn't scalable. So I started into low ticket dropshipping. So selling low ticket products from China. I failed a whole bunch of stores with that. But one thing that I always knew ever since I started consuming the self-help personal development content was I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I didn't have a starting point. I didn't know where to get started. But what I did know is I had a lot of the proper building blocks in place to be an entrepreneur. My whole life, I played hockey. So I had a good work ethic. I had discipline. I set goals for myself. I was used to being on teams, winning teams, good teams. So I had a lot of these key character traits and ingredients that would make for being a successful entrepreneur. I just didn't have the right vehicle. So one of the most important things when you get into business, you have to work hard. But if you're not working hard at the right thing, it's all useless. So I was putting my time into things like ordering dumbbells from China, trying to sell like dog leashes from AliExpress. And no matter how hard I worked at these things, they weren't going to allow me to accomplish my goals. So I still didn't have that thing that would allow me to drop out of law school. I made a few dollars here and there from the dumbbells. I didn't make a sale at all with the low ticket stuff. So I didn't have that thing that I could go all in on yet. But when I found the right thing, a short while later, everything changed. We'll cover that in just a minute. So at this point, I was trying these business models, I was failing, and I was convinced that I would need a miracle to clear my debts. Then one day, everything changed. So my life literally flipped overnight when I discovered the right business model that allowed me to actually clear my law school debts and completely change my future and my family's future forever. So there are a whole bunch of problems with dropshipping low ticket products. So number one, when you make a sale, you're only gonna make a few dollars profit. Number two, you're very reliant upon viral trends. So let's say you find your first winning product that you can make some money with. Usually that will last for about 2 to 3 months, and then that virality will wear off and you're stuck searching for the next viral product. So it's not really a business because there's not really longevity to it. It's very, very difficult. I'm not gonna say impossible, but nearly impossible to sell a low ticket dropshipping store because there's no longevity. And the other problem is nearly anybody can compete with you. So there's a whole bunch of competition. So any kid in his dorm room at university can create a Shopify account for free, click a button on AliExpress and sell the same products as you. So you have a whole bunch of competition, you have very little profit per order, and you have no longevity to your business. So I had been trying these things, I failed, and then I heard about a business called high ticket dropshipping or high ticket e-commerce, which sort of flipped everything on its head. The idea was to sell high ticket products, so something over $300 or even over $1,000. So rather than making $2 profit per sale, you would make $1,000 profit per sale. And the best thing about this is you're not reliant upon viral trends because you don't just source products from AliExpress. Instead, you reach out to name brands in the US, companies that have been around for years and years that people already know and trust. And you essentially create partnerships with them where you have permission to list their products on your website. So then when you make a sale, your customer will come to your website, they'll place the order, you will send your customer's information to the supplier and they'll ship the product to your customer without you ever seeing or touching it. So not only can you make a whole bunch for every sale, your business actually has longevity because you're partnered with real brands. And the best part is you still get the benefits of low ticket dropshipping. You can get started with no starting capital. You don't have to have any prior experience. You don't have to know how to code or build websites. You can do this as a complete beginner, but you can still start what is a real business, work with real brands, sell high quality products that your customer is going to love, and you can do this right away. So you get all the benefits of low ticket dropshipping, but you solve all the problems with it as well. So as soon as I discovered this model, within a few weeks, I made my first ever sale for over $14,000. So you can see right here, I started setting up my store in late September 2021, and then I made my first sale on October 21st. It was over $14,000. It was 2 items. In the next 39 days, so remember how I told you things can turn around very quickly? In the next 39 days after that, I crossed over $177,000 on that store in the 3rd month. So keep in mind, at this point, I was in law school for 3 years. I was in undergrad for 4 years. So I've been going to school for around 7 years at this point. I'd paid hundreds of thousands of dollars in tuition, and I had a job at the highest paying law firm in Canada when I graduated. So law is supposed to be one of the highest paying careers or salaries you can get. Highest paying career type at the highest paying law firm in the whole country. And I was going to make $150,000 Canadian after I graduated. And here I am in my 3rd month. I crossed $215,000 a month. Obviously, this is not all profit. I believe this was around 30,000 USD profit. So about 40,000 Canadian. So over double what I was going to be making at the law firm. And that's in just my 3rd month. So at this point, I started seriously considering dropping out. I started messaging my mom like, hey mom, I want to drop out and go all in this. I'm still trying to balance law school and this, and I'm trying to do too many things. And I just want to go all in on this because I feel like if I do, I can build a multi-million-dollar company. So literally, you can see the text on my screen right here of me saying this. Long story short, she convinced me to go back and just finish the semester. I told her I wasn't going to work hard. I was just going to show up to the exams and pass. A few months later, so in March, we continued scaling some more. So at this point, I think we were right around 400,000. So yeah, 387. I just went all in and dropped out. A few months after that, in December of 2022, I ended up moving to Dubai. So within a year, I went from $170,000 in debt, never made $1 online, to doing, I think total, but I had made on this store $3.6 million in the first year after I made my first dollar. And then I moved across the world with just a carry-on bag to Dubai. So things can turn around very, very quickly. But the key here was if I had kept trying, if I put the exact same effort into the dumbbells or the exact same effort into low ticket dropshipping, then my life would not have changed remotely close to the extent that it did. And I'm not recommending you do this. So at the time when I decided to drop out, I was living at my mom's house. I didn't have a family. I didn't have kids. You might have responsibilities that make that a stupid thing for you to do. I know myself, and I knew that dropping out would put my back against the wall and would bring out the best in me. I didn't have any undergrad degree, no law degree. So when I decided to drop out, my only option was to make entrepreneurship work. And that's exactly what I did, as you can see. But as I said, I was in a unique situation where I didn't have any responsibilities at the time, where I wasn't really taking a huge risk. So you really have to assess not only your situation, but your personality type to know if that would be something that you would respond to. So I'm not saying that I recommend you do that, but that was the right decision for me. So there are a few key factors that led to me doing this. And that's what we're going to be covering here in just a second. And remember, if you stick around to the end, I'll be sharing with my top 1,500 products to sell online in 2025. So make sure you you stick around, watch this video, pay attention. So when I actually give you that list, you'll know what to do with them. So as I said, one of the number one reasons for my success was choosing the right business model. So if you've ever rolled your eyes at dropshipping or thought that making real money online was impossible, then this part is very important, because here's why high ticket e-commerce is different. So working hard matters. You have to work hard. But if you want to see results like that, it should come as no surprise that you have to do things differently. It takes more than just working hard. You have to choose the right business model, because the right business model can make or break you. So now, some things that you should look for when you're considering a business model. You should look for something that is low starting costs, so you don't have to take a huge risk. You should look for something that doesn't require any experience or crazy tech skills. You should look for a real business that you can eventually sell one day and exit, not just something that's viral trends that you're gonna make money for 1 or 2 months, okay? When you build a business that you can exit, you can not only make money off of it, but like, let's say, for example, you build a business and you take $10,000 salary for 2 years. So 2 years is 24 months. You can make $240,000 in salary during those 2 years, but usually you can sell a business for 3 to 4x its yearly profit. So for example, if you're doing $120,000 per year profit, not only could you make the $120,000 salary, then at the end of a couple of years, you can turn around and sell that business for another $400,000. And I've had people in my program that I work with literally do exactly that. They've come in, they made a whole bunch of money for their store, and they've sold it for multiple 6, I think even sometimes 7 figures in under a few years. If you compare that to something like low ticket dropshipping, Amazon FBA, it is very, very unlikely that that would ever happen. So that is why this is such a superior business model. So once you have the right business model, you're off to a great start. But that's not all. Let's talk about the lifeblood of any high ticket e-commerce store, the product you're selling. So how do you find a product that can practically sell itself? So there are a number of factors I'm going to cover with you here today, but there are 2 key ones that you should keep in mind. That is the price point of the product and the demand of the product. So you want to have a very expensive product that a whole bunch of people are searching for, because when you have those 2 things, it is a very, very good mix. So we'll cover price point first. Usually anything over $1,000 works, but I personally like to focus on products that cost over $5,000. So when I was selling saunas, and I did very, very well with them, price point would average around $7,000 to $10,000. So every time I made a sale, it would mean roughly $2,000 profit into my bank account. That is completely different than even a $1,000 product where it might be $200 or $300 into your bank. I personally like products that cost over $5,000, but not only that, they also have to have high demand. So if I type in sauna, you can see here that there's 128,000 people searching for them per month, and it's on a steady increase. So those are 2 things. Number one, there's a whole bunch of demand. So I would say anything over 50,000 is considered a lot. Usually the bare minimum is, I say, $1,000 price point and 20,000 demand. But you can see here how we have way higher price point between $7,000 and $10,000. Sometimes I've even sold saunas up to $50,000 with 128,000 people searching for them. So that is a very, very good mixture right there. And then the cherry on top is it's also increasing. So you can even see 8 years ago, there was only 50,000. Now there's over 100. This in January 2025, there's 191,000. So we have a very, very steep increasing trend, which means the market is growing. People are liking these things. People are trying to buy them in higher and higher numbers. So all those things right there are the key characteristics of a winning product. And just to show you another one, if I was starting a store today, I would probably try and sell these things. It's called hyperbaric chambers. So these are even more expensive than saunas. These things cost they can cost up to $100,000. And you can see they went from pretty much 50,000 for the last 10 years to 700,000 in a single month in February of 2025, which is absolutely insane. And these things, as I said, cost even more than saunas. And just to show you the demand for these things, there's a wellness studio by my house, and they have one of these things that you can go in and rent, and it's booked out for the next 3 months right now. So it's essentially just like oxygen therapy that oxygenates your body and makes you feel great. Very similar health benefits to a sauna. It's a health related product, but it's even more expensive and there's even more demand. In order to find the demand of a product, usually I recommend a keyword tool like Ahrefs or Supplier HQ. You can just type in any product like fireplace and it will pop up the search volume here for you, and you can also see by month. So one other thing I would be aware of is you don't want to sell products that are super seasonal. A little bit of seasonality is okay, but you can see here, you don't want the top half of the trench to be over double the bottom. So you can see the top here is 180, the bottom is 50, so it's about over 3.5 times as much. So this would be a pretty seasonal product that I would probably want to avoid. Or if I show you, if I go back to sauna, there is definitely a little bit of seasonality here. So you can see here, the bottom is 103 and it goes up to 191. So it's still under double. So that would be okay to me. That's not to say you can't do well with seasonal products. It would just be something that I would focus on when you're a little bit more, you can have multiple stores that are seasonal at different times of the year. So maybe you have a fireplace store that's seasonal, that's taking off for you in the fall. So you can see here, it's good in November and December. And then maybe you have a gazebo store that is good for you in the summer months, like May, June, July. You see what I mean? You could have multiple stores selling different products. If you're first starting out, I would recommend just choosing a product that does not have crazy swings in demand so you don't even have to deal with that. Price point is quite easy to find. All you have to do is just go to Google and type in the products. So one caveat is make sure that you're doing it in the place you're selling. So you can see here, I'm in Dubai. So all the prices and stuff is in UAE currency. So I'm just gonna go, so you can see here, and then we can just go to the search bar here and just type in like minimum 10,000. And we can see that there is a whole bunch of hyperbaric chambers. You can see this one's 34,000 and 73,000. And we can see the brands that are selling them as well. So you can see here, Hyperhealth, iPyramids, you can see the other stores selling them as well. So the first thing I would do is if I wanted to sell these, I would go find another dropshipping store. So I know this is actually a dropshipping store, probably for athletes. I would go to their website. I would just type in the product I'm looking for, hyperbaric chamber, and then see what pops up and see other brands. So I can see they have Oxynova, Oxyrevo, Summit to C, and these would be Oxyrevo again. These would be the brands that I would want to reach out to myself to start selling these things. Macypan is another one. So these would be the brands that I would want to start reaching out to myself to sell these things. So just to quickly recap, we've covered price point over $5,000, demand of over 50,000, non-seasonal. One other thing that's very important is the profit margins. So that is not something we can usually figure out in advance. We usually have to reach out to the suppliers and figure out profit margins. Profit margins, the target I would aim for varies depending on the price of the product. So for example, if someone selling a $1,000 product offered me 70% margins, I would say, go fly a kite, no way. If someone offered me 17% margins on a $80,000 hyperbaric chamber, it's still $15,000, $16,000 profit. So usually the higher price of the product, the lower profit you need. You still want to get as high as possible, of course, but the bare minimum I would say you should ever run ads to is 15%. But like I said, 15% on a $70,000 product and 15% on a $1,000 product are very, very different things. So just to give you some examples of some winning stores that have done very well. So Northern Saunas is a big sauna store. They do very, very well selling saunas. Another big sauna store is My Sauna World. So they sell, you can go up here and just to show you how you find brands. If you're selling saunas as well, you would just go here, find their full list of brands, and then you could start reaching out to these yourself, closing these brands, getting permission from them to list their products on your own store. So if you want to watch my full training, I'm going to link training where I break all that down step by step in the description. This is a cool example here. So this is Fire Pits Direct. So obviously they sell fire pits, but remember I said before how you can have multiple stores. You can see here at the bottom, they have different stores linked. They have Kick-Ass Grills and Fireplaces Direct. So this is Fire Pits Direct, but then there's also Fireplaces Direct, which sells fireplaces, and then they have Kick-Ass Grills. So all these stores here are actually owned by the same company or even the same person potentially. So that's a cool way to show where you don't have to put all of your products on one store. You can have different stores that sell specific things. Here's another one selling workout equipment, strengthwarehouseUSA.com. Here's another one actually selling boat engines, so trollingmotors.net. It's a pretty interesting one. They do very well. Now, even the best product will not sell if your store looks sketchy or if your customer service is a nightmare. So here's how to nail every part of the process so you can stand out and make sales from day number one. So essentially, in short, how to beat your competition. So number one, how your site looks matters. So you want to have excellent site design so when people visit your website, they trust you. They feel comfortable buying from you. You don't look like a store that was set up yesterday. Even though if you were set up yesterday, you want to have a very good sales process. So for example, if someone comes to your website and expresses interest in a product, you want to have a way to essentially save their contact information and then follow up with them next week, 2 weeks after, a month after, and then do that with every person that expresses interest. That can literally be the difference between making $50,000 in sales a month or $300,000 in sales a month, spending the exact same on that, the exact same customers visiting your website, but your ability to follow up and have a good sales process and be organized can be the difference between literally 5 to 10x your sales versus not doing it. Another great way to beat your competitors is to have high-end brand partnership. You want to get all the best brands in your space, but that's not all. You also want to get the best deals in your space. So usually when you start making sales for a brand, you can go to them and you can ask for better terms. You can ask for better margins. Sometimes they'll even give you products that only their best sellers get access to. So when I say you want to have good brand partnerships, you want to, yes, have access to the best brands, but you also want to constantly be improving your relationship with them by getting access to other products, by getting access to better terms and profit margins, and just staying on a friendly basis with your contact at that brand. So at this point, let's zoom out. You have the best business model, you have the best product, you know the importance of your website and your website design and your customer service, but how all these pieces fit together. So how it works is very, very simple. And the reason why you need such little capital to get started is because of how this works. So how at a high level this business works is as follows. Let's say you start a store selling $10,000 saunas. Okay, so you have them available on your website. Let's say I come to your website and I decide I want your sauna model A for $10,000. So I will then pay you $10,000 for the sauna. You will then send my information, my address, the model I want to your supplier, who you've partnered with before, who you now have permission to list their products in your store. Then the supplier will send me the sauna, but you will usually have to wait 2 to 3 days to get my money from Shopify, which is the platform we recommend building your website on. And once you get my $10,000, let's say if your margins are 25%, you will send $7,500 of that to the supplier, pay for the product, and then you will keep $2,500 profit. So you do not have to front any of that money yourself. Now, if you have a business credit card, you can definitely pay for it in advance. So as soon as I order, you can send the order to the supplier right away, pay with the credit card, and then just get my money in 2 to 3 days. That can speed things up order-wise. You can just wait the extra 2 to 3 days to get my money to pay for the product. It will just make your shipping time a bit longer. When you're just starting out, it's really not a big deal. So at a high level, when you're getting started with this, the steps that you want to follow are, number one is you want to set up a business. You want to get a business bank account, a business credit card. Once you have your business set up, you want to choose your product. Once you have chosen your product, you want to set up a demo store. So a demo store is essentially a website like the ones I was showing you before, but there's not actually any real products on them. So essentially you want to do that. So then when you start the next step, which is reaching out to suppliers, you can say, this is my website. This is where I'm going to be listing your products on. Not all of them are going to look, but it's just an important step. So you have business setup, bank account, credit card. If applicable, you don't have to get a credit card. Choose a product, build a demo website, start reaching out to suppliers, which you can just do on email. You just say, hey, I'm Brook. I just founded a store in the solar space. We're doing some research and I think you would be a great fit to work with us. Can you let me know the process? An online authorized dealer of your brand's products, which essentially just means, can I sell your products on my website? If they say yes, they'll send you over some forms that you'll have to sign. They'll send you all their product lists, the pricing that you'll get, your margins, product photos you can use on your website. Then you can pop them on your website. Once that's done, then you can start running ads. You don't have to run ads. You can do things like SEO, organic traffic. You can post on social media. You can do B2B outreach. There are a whole bunch of ways that you can make sales without running ads, but usually the simplest and the fastest way to make sales is to use Google Ads. And the reason for that is we can, with Google Ads, target people who are searching for the exact brands we're selling. So for example, if I am selling hyperbaric chambers and I can see right here, that brand, that website I showed you before has Oxynova, because I'm working with name brands that people already know and trust, if I type in Oxynova on this keyword tool, so on this website I showed you before, you can see here that Summit to Sea is a brand of hyperbaric chamber, right? One of the main advantages of working with these name brands is then if I type in that brand name on Ahrefs, this keyword tool, I can see that there's 600 people per month searching for Summit to Sea hyperbaric chamber. So with Google Ads, what we can do is we can put our products right in front of the people searching for them. So when someone types in Summit to Sea hyperbaric chamber, we can show up first. And then if we have a great website, we're responsive to their questions, our product page looks nice, we follow up with them after they express interest, then we can actually win that sale. At this point, it just becomes about automating and delegating. So you want to start building a team, automating tasks, delegating tasks, so then you can either work on growing your business from the outside and growing it bigger and bigger, or you can just enjoy your life. Maybe you want more time with family. Maybe you want to go live on a beach in Thailand. It doesn't really matter. There are some people who focus all in on their business, and we've had people, the best I've seen is someone grew their business over $2 million per month in the first year. $2 million per month in the first year. I think they did $11 million in the first 10 months or something crazy like that. That's like the best I've seen. But other people just want to make their first $2,000 to $3,000 per month in income and then just go live on a beach in Thailand and enjoy their life and work an hour or two per week. That's not to say you can build the business working an hour or two per week, but once you actually get it up, it's very, very doable. That is the business model that I use to sell $2.5 million of one single product. So if I can use that to go from broke law student building a multi-million-dollar e-commerce business in a single year, then trust me, you can too. But here's the kicker. You can do this even easier. So right in the comment section below, you're going to find a link which contains my top 1,500 products to sell online in 2025. So rather than having to guess and do all this product research yourself, you can go right to my product research guide where you can get a whole bunch of ideas there handed to you on a silver platter. So again, that is the step-by-step process that I use to sell $2.5 million of one single product as a beginner. So if you want to learn more about this business, I actually filmed a completely free training. It literally breaks this down step by step. It goes in detail on every step and exactly how it works, and actually how you can work with me and my team, where we will actually take an interest in your store. So rather than charging you a whole bunch up front, you'll invest just a little bit to work with us, and then we'll actually take an interest in your store and take most of our payment through the sales we help you make. Now, we are very selective with who we work with, so you have to apply. So if you want to know how to apply, and check out a free training that shows you exactly how this business works step by step, where I go in depth on each step, then I'm going to link my training in the description, also as a pinned comment. But that's all for today's video. I hope you took some value. If you did, please hit subscribe to my channel, like the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. And also, PS, make sure to grab the 1,500 products in the comment section as well. We'll see you soon.